A warm welcome to our very first episode of Beyond the Headlines, a production of Global Television Network Africa, where we showcase stories that have made headlines during the course of the week, told by journalists from Uganda media houses and beyond, with me, your host, Shirley Birungi. As the coronavirus takes toll of the global scene, different countries have gone ahead to issue quarantine, and here is President Donald Trump, who issued a travel ban to about 26 European countries, with the exception of the UK. Here is President Donald Trump.
I have decided to take several strong but necessary actions to protect the health and well-being of all Americans. To keep new cases from entering our shores, we will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days.
Beginning with our first story, as China being a predominant trade hub that the Ugandan economy heavily relies on, the business sector has registered losses due to the coronavirus outbreak, as Walter Mwesije from NTV Uganda narrates.
Downtown Kampala is a beehive of activity, money exchanging hands, buyers carrying their goods. What cannot be missed are the trailers loading and offloading merchandise to and from various destinations. Some of these are consignments shipped from one of the most preferred countries of trade, China. The arcades where the goods end up are always busy with human activity. Sellers, buyers and even window shoppers. It may not appear that obvious to the outside eye, but to those who ply their trade here, the coronavirus outbreak has affected the trend of business. Cargo handlers and business owners fear for the future if the outbreak is not contained.
I was hoping to get my orders by around 17th. Until now, I have never received anything, any good from China. Even I left my money with those people whom I made orders from them.
Herbert Nsubuga says the global spread of the disease has worsened the situation by cutting off the alternatives.
We can't go to Thailand because almost all factories in Thailand are China-oriented. So now, what to do?
The lockdown in China due to the outbreak of the coronavirus disease has much more implications than the attrition on health, but also on businesses like Maria's Cargo here, who deal in shipping of goods from China to Uganda. They say the number of clients they deal with in a month has drastically dropped.
So far, we have been having even more than 2,000 clients every month. But it is unfortunate that right now, there is no any client that has been that has been in China, maybe to buy or make order for the things to be delivered.
According to the cargo dealers, on average, shipping a container of merchandise like clothing from China to Kampala costs about $6,000, the equivalent of just over 22 million shillings, and the tax levied on it will depend on the value of the imported goods. China ranks second after India in Uganda's top trading partners, with Uganda's imports from China valued at $886 million, while the exports to China are valued at $57 million, an equivalent of about 214 billion shillings. Walter Mwesije, NTV.
In Uganda, Kampala Capital City Authority shot an 18-year-old Senior 6 student, Rachel Nancha, from Lugazi Senior Secondary School. This was during an operation to arrest vendors in Kampala. The government of Uganda offered an apology to the family and also ordered that compensation be granted to the families, as compelled by Joyce Bagala and Josephine Namakumbi of NBS TV Uganda.
In Ward 2C Oro in Lago Hospital is where Ncha Luwena Rachel, an 18-year-old Form 6 student, is admitted. Ncha is a victim of a stray bullet resulting from police's operation meant to disperse street vendors. The student, together with the mother, Nakachwa Irene, a fishmonger at Kasenyi learning site, made the misfortune because perhaps they were just in an area at the wrong time.
The KCCA came, they were confiscating the street vendors' merchandise. There was like fighting. So the police decided to shoot up They shoot up even in us who are moving. We are running away from the tear gas and the bullets. So they hit me, they hit my elbow here with a rubber bullet and it got broken. And my child, they hit her with a real bullet. All her teeth went out this side.
With tears rolling down, Nakachwa explains the pain she's going through as she nurses her child.
I just earn a small living. Now they are destroying my child's future. I just need help from the government. I wish Museveni could help me.
Speaking to medics, we learned that Ncha, whose jaw was dislocated, will not feed normally for some time.
So she has lost about a total of 7 teeth. Yeah. Then the rest of the teeth that are neighboring, those teeth that were lost, are having some injuries that will need a root canal treatment.
Doctors say the treatment will cost in a range of 10 million shillings.
So the cost of having her mouth and teeth and lips is a little over 10 million Uganda shillings because it is a long process.
In a parliamentary sitting today, Parliament asked government to compensate the affected family.
My prayer, Right Honourable Speaker, is that government undertakes to take the entire cost and compensation to this family.
This after government apologized over the incident. The Lord Mayor, Arias Lukwago, paid a visit to the patient and said KCCA will streamline laws to guide the enforcement team.
The law enforcement the law enforcement force ordinance and also the street vending or street trade ordinance, they must be enacted into law to regulate the business of street vending and hawking in Kampala.
Police says it will crack the whip.
We have asked our officers who are involved in that operation to step aside and pave way for investigation.
Jace Bagala, Josephine Namakumbi, NBS, Live at 9.
Crossing over to Afghanistan, where two political rivals, Ashraf Ghani and his counterpart, Abdullah, both who claimed victory, were being sworn in at the recently concluded elections. Rockets were fired at the presidential compound, landing very close to where Ghani was giving his speech, as compiled by Hoda Abdel Hamid from Al Jazeera News.
It was a day marred by controversy. Guests were told to arrive early in the morning, only to discover a delay to the inauguration ceremony of President Ashraf Ghani. While they waited, U.S. envoy Zalmay Khalilzad was trying to bridge the political rift between Ghani and his rival Abdullah. By mid-afternoon, the ceremony to start Ghani's second term was finally underway. With the U.S. envoy and other Afghan and foreign officials in the audience, Ghani took his oath of office, promising to uphold the constitution and bring security. While this ceremony is happening here, there's another presidential inauguration unfolding not very far from where we are. That's the one organized by Abdullah, the main competitor of Ashraf Ghani, and he says that he is the winner and the legitimate president of Afghanistan, taking the same oath his rival did. Abdullah rejects the result of the presidential election in September and is calling for a rerun.
If I accept the fraud that happened during the election, then it would be witnessing the end of democracy. It's not in favour of the country. We will form a government according to the demands and needs of the people. We will bring change.
Abdullah's ceremony was more populist. No officials or foreign delegations here. Down with the enemy of Abdullah, his supporters chanted. But it was also a day marred by violence. While the two men were being sworn in, several rockets were fired at the presidential compound, landing very close to where Ghani was giving a speech. The president remained at the podium, defiantly opening his shirt to show he wasn't wearing any protection. ISIL claimed responsibility for the rocket attack. Monday was a public holiday for Afghans. The streets of Kabul were unusually empty. What was supposed to be the start of a new chapter turned out to be a day when political rivalry tore the country apart a little more. Hoda Abdel Hamid, Al Jazeera, Kabul.
These are the stories that featured in our weekly episode of Beyond the Headlines, and a special thanks goes to the media houses and the reporters who featured in this week's episode. We look forward to your reactions, comments, and reviews on our different social media platforms, that is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. You can as well subscribe to our YouTube channel, that is Global Television Network Africa, where you can catch our weekly episodes that will be airing every 1 p.m. East African time with me, Shirley Birungi. From me and the team, it's a good day.